Hello, everyone. My name is Ole Kagan, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator with LA County Library, and I welcome you to Work Ready Careers in Law Enforcement. Before we get going with today's event, I just have a little bit of housekeeping to go over, and then I'm going to tell you about the Work Ready program. Work Ready was started in December of 2020 with the purpose of helping people get a job and plan a more sustainable career path. We're doing that in two ways. One is we lend out laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots for 6-week loans out of 27 library locations. And two is we provide virtual events just like this one on a range of work-related topics, anything from the basics like cover letters, interviews, and resumes to deep dives into various careers like law enforcement and other career-related topics like career pivots and coming back to work, your first few days at the job, how to run successful meetings, all sorts of topics like that. I'm going to post a, a link to the work and career playlist, which has over 50 of our past work ready programs available for you to watch anytime at your leisure at 2 times the speed or at 0.5 times the speed in case you want us to talk slow. So feel free to look that over. The Work Ready program is made possible due to funds provided by the American Rescue Plan. And before we move on to the program, I also want to let you know what we have going on next time for Work Ready. And that is Work Ready, a career coach answers your questions. So if you have any questions related to job search, resumes, cover letters, anything that you're interested in when it comes to your career journey. Career coach Liz Moeller will be joining us on Tuesday, February 27th. That's a week from next Tuesday at 11 a.m., our usual time. And she will be around to answer all your questions. So you can register for that. And if you want to send questions in advance, you can also feel free to do that. And just email them to me. And I will put them in the queue for Liz. So I just posted the information about that program in the chat, so you can click register. And that is, of course, free, as are all library programs. And if you're interested in learning more about our library programs, you can do that by going to our website at lacountylibrary.org, clicking on the link at the top right-hand side, it says events. That'll take you to our calendar. That'll give you all of the events, in person and virtual, out of 85 library locations for kids, teens, adults, and older adults. And if you're only interested in virtual programs like this one, you can hover over that events button and you'll get a little drop down that says virtual programming. You click that drop down and you'll get a list of all our Zoom events, of course, also for all ages and all for free. All right, let's get started with today's event, Work Ready Careers in Law Enforcement. And our presenter for today is Deputy Jennie Waller. She has spent 17 years with Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department and has worked at numerous locations and in various roles. She's worked at women's jail, on patrol, done background investigations, and now she is in the recruitment unit. I welcome to the stage Deputy Jennie Waller. Deputy, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Okay, so Deputy Sheriff trainee, the salary ranges is actually 76,000 to 95,000. Now, what makes that difference is going to be whether you have a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree. 76,000 starts you off with just a high school diploma or equivalent, so a GED as well. And then in the middle of that is going to be if you have an associate's degree. 95,000 is where you can cap out as a recruit if you have your bachelor's degree. And that is in the academy. Once you graduate the academy, those numbers go up. 82,000 with a high school diploma or equivalent, and then around 6,000 more than your 95 for that bachelor's degree. So right now we lowered our minimum age to 19 and a half, and we don't have a max age right now. High school diploma or equivalent. You must be legally authorized to work in the United States, so you do not have to be a citizen. Valid Class C driver's license, that's just a regular driver's license that you drive with in your everyday car. No felony convictions currently on probation, and in good physical condition. And the reasoning for that good physical condition is because you have to pass a physical agilities test, and you also need to pass the academy that has a lot of physical fitness in it. The hiring process. Okay, so you can go to our website at lsd.org/careers and apply on there. The test is going to be a multiple choice question. It's written at a 10th grade level. Once you pass that, let me rewind a little bit. We have an expedited process right now. So when you do put in your application, 5 to 7 business days, you will get an email from our sworn exams unit that's going to tell you testing date, location, and time, and what to prepare for that day. So read the whole email, make sure that you read everything on what to bring and what to expect. And that might go to your spam box, so you are going to want to look there. And then the first portion is going to be your multiple choice portion. Again, like I said, written at a 10th grade level. They'll let you know whether you passed or not, and then you'll move to the physical abilities test, which will be the next process. Once you pass that, you'll go to your structured interview, and it's an interview of basically, why do you want to be a deputy sheriff? Why do you want to join our department? What have you done to prepare? Questions like that. Nothing to be a little too scared about or too worried about. On our website, lsd.org/careers, we have a preparation tab that you can click on, and on there is going to be practice tests for the multiple choice exam, study guides, and videos on the physical fitness portion, as well as questions for the structured interview. So you'll be well prepared if you go to the preparation tab on our website. There's a lot of stuff on there for you to help you with the process and to help you prepare for the process. After you pass all of that stuff, that same day you'll be put in backgrounds, right? So they'll give you a list of things that you need to prepare before your background investigator gets a hold of you. Usually they get a hold of you within 2 weeks of you passing everything, and they're reaching out to find out what have you done, what kind of paperwork have you submitted, what are you still waiting on as far as you know your transcripts or your credit report or things like that. While you're in background investigation, they're basically going through everything in your life, your neighbors, exes that you may have, jobs, previous jobs, current job, current employment, your supervisors, co-workers, all kinds of information like that. Um, any criminal investigations that you may have been a part of, you're going to have a polygraph during that background investigation as well. You'll do jail tours and patrol ride-alongs which will help you to understand what you're kind of getting into. After that, after you pass all of that, you are submitted for review. It's whether or not they think you're a great fit for the department. And once they say yes, you move on to the psych evaluation with the psychologist, and then a medical evaluation. After that, you sit down with our captain to go over, why you want to be on our department, and then that's our pre-academy consultation. So then from there, you'll be given an academy date and be able to start. So I believe the next one is going to be a video. Okay, and this is going to go over the physical portion of the testing.
Hi, I'm Deputy Torres. And I'm Deputy Gray McAllister. Today we're going to walk you through what a test day consists of. We're going to guide you through it step by step so you know exactly what to expect. On the day of the test, you can complete up to 4 components. Keep in mind that the day could be long, so listen to the instructions carefully and your proctor.
Hey guys, I'm here at the check-in station. Just wanted to go over a few things you're going to need that day. Make sure you bring a photo ID, your emailed invitation, and make sure you're wearing the appropriate workout gear. After you pass the written test, you're going to take the physical ability test.
The written exam is 60 multiple choice questions, and you have 90 minutes to complete it. In order to pass, you must achieve a score of 70% or better. After you finish the written exam, you'll have some time to wait for your results. During this period, you'll have the opportunity to hydrate, have a small snack if you need to, and mentally prepare for the validated physical ability test. Keep in mind that in order to move on to the VPAT, you have to have passed the written exam. Before you take the VPAT, we're going to have you run through some stretching exercises. The purpose of these stretching exercises are to warm up your body and muscles and prepare you for what you're about to go through on the course. Remember, you want to try your hardest on the course while avoiding injury.
Okay guys, you just finished stretching. Now you find yourself at station number 1, the push-up. The purpose of this test is to measure your upper body strength. You want to do as many push-ups as you can in 1 minute without stopping. If you need to rest, rest in the up position and don't let your knees hit the floor.
Station number 2 is a 75-yard run. The purpose of this exercise is to simulate a foot pursuit. During this exercise, you will be running around cones and jumping over curves. You want to make sure you run this as fast as possible without touching any cones or curves.
Okay guys, we're here at the next station, the sit-up. This test is going to measure your abdominal strength. You're going to need to do as many sit-ups as you can in 1 minute. You may rest between sit-ups, lying on the mat, but the timer will not stop. Your arms must maintain in constant contact with the chest while performing the sit-up.
This is the last station of the BPAT process, the 20-meter shuttle run, also known as the beep test. You'll run back and forth between 2 lines that are 20 meters apart to test your cardiovascular endurance. Keep in mind this is a time test. It's going to start off slower and progressively get faster. You want to continue to run until you can no longer keep up with the pace. If you successfully complete our VPAC, congratulations, you get to move on to our structured interview. Since the structured interview is right after the physical portion of our test, your workout attire is acceptable. If you successfully complete the structured interview, you will then move on to complete a life scan. Congratulations, you just completed the first 4 steps it takes to be a deputy sheriff with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. If you have any questions at all, you can reach us at 1-800-A-DEPUTY or message us on any of the social media platforms at Join LASD. Stay focused, stay motivated, and good luck.
The academy is it's stress induced, right? And the reason for that is because when you're out doing this job, it can be very stressful, and we need to make sure that you can handle the stress while being professional and doing your job out there, right? So it's a stress induced academy. It's not all day long, but it is going to be stressful. For me, probably the most difficult part that I had in the academy was the learning domains that we had to do. So you are being tested. You have to know all the laws, California laws, um, case law, things like that. So you are being tested. These are laws from the state of California that require the peace officers to know. So they're learning domains. So you're always having classes all day long is probably going to be the thing that takes up the most in the academy, as well as the physical fitness. So you're always going to be running, doing jumping jacks, things like that, right? So along with the physical portion and the classroom time, they do take you to the range. You will learn how to shoot, even if you've never held a gun before. We start everybody off at the same level, and that includes with the physical fitness portion as well. So everybody starts off at the very bottom, and they just train everyone as if it's their first time holding a gun. So you will learn all of that. We do our jiu-jitsu style martial arts in the academy. Our grappling, that we do learn how to fight and the way that they want you to be able to fight. So again, you do start with basic stuff on there, takeaway, gun takeaways, using your baton, things like that. You do go to evoc, which is learning how to drive a car really, really fast. You learn how to spin the car out of control and gain control of the vehicle again. You learn how to drive in reverse, and then just emergency tactics so that you can maneuver outside in the community and not get anybody hurt.
You better wake up. Do you understand that? Get sound up.
Don't you think that's important?
Yes, sir.
Then why don't you know? Good, Jen, you get up.
So right now, you are able to graduate from the academy and then go straight to patrol if you want to do that. Most of the deputies are going to custody facilities. There are also court services and transportation bureau as well. So the benefits of these, the benefit of going to custody, a lot of departments will tell you that this is like a downside, but it's not. If you've never been in an environment where you've had to talk to gangsters before, or maybe you've never encountered drugs before, custody is going to be the place where you encounter all of that in a pretty much safe environment, safe and controlled environment. Um, you're able to talk to uh, basically criminals and be able to ask them questions regarding, gang activity or how they move drugs, things like that, stealing cars, and kind of just learn how to talk to basically people that you're going to be encountering when you do go out to patrol, especially if you've never grown up in an environment where you saw that happening, daily. That would be a controlled environment where you learn all that stuff and learn how to talk to people, learn where they're hiding their drugs, transporting their drugs. So you have a little bit more knowledge of what you're getting into when you go out to patrol. A lot of deputies use that time to finish their degree, go back to school, get a bachelor's or a master's, as well. And some, if they're not too comfortable with going out to patrol, they stay a little longer in custody. You don't have to leave custody. I have partners that have stayed in custody 18 years now. So you don't have to leave. But the department does open up to a lot more jobs once you do leave and get your patrol training out of the way. Court services is another one. You work court hours, so Monday through Friday, weekend and holidays off. A lot of deputies with families like that schedule because they're able to go to their kids' games, their tournaments, things like that. They're also able to. Sorry. They're also able to finish school here as well. So that's just another position that we do have that's available. And then the transportation one is the deputies that transport the inmates to their court appearances, any court hearings that they do have, they have to go. So these three bureaus, custody, court services, and transportation, are unique to the sheriff's department. Police departments do not have these. So when people are asking what's the difference between the sheriff's department and the police department, this is one of them. We're the ones that control the jails, the courthouses, and the transportation. So some of these other different departments, they maybe you'll see police officers that have been in patrol for so long, they have to leave patrol to do a special assignment, and then they have to go right back into patrol again. Not with us. If you leave patrol, you can always go back to patrol. You can, if you spend 10 years doing patrol work and you want to go back to custody, you can always go back as well. You don't ever have to transfer out of a position unless you want to. So you can have any three of these positions and then leave to patrol and then go right back into those positions as well. So that's one of the things that's unique about the sheriff's department is being able to go to any of these different bureaus, whether it's custody, which is the jails, court services, working at the courthouses, or the transportation bureaus, right? And then from there, like I said, you go out to patrol. Patrol will open a lot more doors for you once you get that out of the way. You can go, although custody and court services does have specialized units, there are a lot more specialized units when you go out to patrol. So some of these specialized units, let's say detective bureau, you'll need a minimum of 2 years of patrol training, and then you can start testing for detective, right? Some units you don't have to test for. Like I was on a specialized unit when I was in patrol, and it was called a cops team, and that's just a community-based unit that helps that area deal with whatever crimes on the rise there, like stolen vehicles, maybe burglaries and things like that. So once you do your patrol time, you do have a lot more available to you. We have over 350 jobs. Patrol is just one of them. Custody deputy is just another. So something to think about when you want to join the department is where you want to go. And again, like I said earlier, you don't ever have to switch out of these positions. So let's say you become a station detective, right? And you're happy there and you don't ever want to leave. You don't have to rotate out of that position. That position's yours until you decide to leave it. Because we're so large, we're one of the largest sheriff's department in the world. We have more of everything. So out of our 23 patrol stations, we're going to have detective units for all of those stations. We're going to have gang units for those stations. We're going to have just more of everything because we're so large. So the competition for the next spot isn't really there because we need so many positions. You're going to test for a position and then you get put on a waiting list. And then when your number comes up, they're going to call you up and they're going to ask you, hey, are you still interested in this spot? And you can tell them yes or no, or maybe by that time you promoted into a different position that you like and you don't want to leave. So there's really no competition for that next spot because we're so large. There's a piece of the cake for everyone. benefits. So we do have pension and we do have a deferred compensation account, which we call our Horizons account, and it works like a 401k, except you get to withdraw it at 55. Also, you're able to take out loans against it as well. So let's say you buy a house and you want to add another bedroom to that house. Well, you can pull out from your Horizons account and use that money towards whatever you want it for and pay yourself back. So instead of paying a bank a loan, a personal loan that you took out, you're paying yourself back. The interest that they charge you on borrowing that money goes right back into your account. And the pension plan, with our department, you can retire with 100% of your pension, and it all depends on how many years you put in the department, right? So once you're vested into the department, it's a percentage from there on. The longer you stay in, the more money you're going to be able to retire from, right? And so if I wanted to, I'm 17 years, I can retire at 20 years. That's 3 more years. I'll be 43, right? If I stay a little longer, I'll retire with a little bit more money. Once you hit 25 years of service with the department, you're given medical for life. So while you're on with the department, you get your medical, dental, and vision plans. Once you retire after 25 years of service, then you still have those plans. The department gives you money for those plans as well. So for my husband and I, we get $1,200 a month that the department gives me that I can use for my medical, dental, and vision. Anything that I don't use out of that money goes back into my account. So money from my paycheck is not going for my medical, dental, or vision. That's coming from the department still. Our academy is a paid academy. It's 6 months long. It is paid. First day of the academy, you are getting your benefits. We also offer AliSD University, which is the department partnering up with universities to give you a discount for your degree, whether it's your bachelor's degree or your master's degree. Some of those universities offer an accelerated program, so you're able to get your degree within 18 months. So not only do you get a discounted rate, you can also take advantage of getting your degree within 18 months. And you do get a pay bump if you do have a degree. You don't need one to join the department, and you don't need a degree for some of these specialized units that you test to get into. And like I mentioned before, over 350 positions within our department. If you're a veteran and you're a reservist, you get up to 30 days paid military leave. After that, you're going to get a portion of your paycheck. So you'll never be making less than your deputy pay. Now, if you are a straight veteran, you did your time, or maybe you were a reservist with a lot of active duty time under your belt, you can buy back up to 10 years of that active duty time. And what that means is if you've done anywhere between a year to 10 years, you can buy that back, and that goes towards your retirement with our department. So if you come on and you're a brand new deputy and you get on and you buy your 10 years of military time back, that you already have 10 years already for your retirement. That's 10 years sooner you're going to retire than your buddies that you went through the academy with. Your GI Bills help you in the academy as well, and you can also use them for your AliSD University. You'll get a discount, but you can also use your GI Bill for those benefits as well. We are accredited through East LA College, so when you are going through the academy, you should be getting your full GI Bill benefits. And again, if you're a reservist or a guard member, you don't lose any of your time when you're on military leave. You're essentially double dipping, but never making less than your deputy paycheck. And your TSB is transferable to your Horizon, so you won't be losing any money on that. Any questions regarding the process or any background questions or anything like that?
So we did have a question in the chat about this possible opportunities. So the question is, do the Sheriff's Department and CHP ever hire people in their 70s with a bachelor's degree for part-time work? If so, what kind of jobs can they work there?
So we don't have a maximum age. We do hire retirees, but they're within the department. So if they retire within the department, there's part-time work for them with the department. So you'd already have to be retired with us.
Okay, so if somebody from the outside was trying to come in their own position, they wouldn't be able to get a part-time position as the questioner is asking.
Correct. Yes, you'd have to have retired with the department to be able to come in and do part-time with us.
Okay, so I have a question, and I've seen this question around, and you talked a little bit about it earlier. The difference between the police and the sheriff. You mentioned it had to do with the jails and a much wider scope with the sheriff. Is that the only difference, or what are the other differences?
So there's, for the most part, we do patrol work. So the sheriff's department patrols unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County. So any part of Los Angeles County that doesn't have their own police department, we patrol those areas. For example, the city of Linwood does not have their own police department. We patrol. They have a contract through us. That's what we call a contract city. They have a contract through us, and we patrol those cities, right? Um, Not only that, we also have the contract cities like I just mentioned right now. So anything else like Willowbrook, some parts of Compton are unincorporated. So those are also the sheriff's department, as well as the city of Compton having their own sheriff's department that's helped, which is us, that patrols that area as well. But they're technically a contract city. So we do have contracts with other smaller cities to patrol those areas, and then this other cities within LA County we patrol. So a police department like, for example, LAPD, they handle the city of Los Angeles. Now, they don't handle all of the city of Los Angeles. They actually have some unincorporated areas there that the sheriff's department handles. But for the most part, they do the city of Los Angeles. You have Whittier Police Department. Whittier Police Department patrols all of the city of Whittier. And then we have the unincorporated areas outside of their jurisdiction. So
Mhm.
that's an example of what we also do as well as far as the patrolling. So while a police department only has one city to handle, we have numerous cities. We have 23 patrol stations throughout Los Angeles County. So if you want an area that's full of crime, you can have that where you're just always one call after the next chasing those stolen cars, or you can be in a city where there's, you know, nothing happening, very minimal requests for calls or requests for service out there. So we have a little bit of everything with our patrol stations, and it's just going to be different groups of people that you're always going to be interacting with because we're so diverse within our county. Los
So it's
Angeles
not
is very
not just positions, not just a whole bunch of different positions, but also locations make a difference.
correct. Yes, locations definitely. If you want to be on the beach, we got the beaches, we got the mountains. We have, Avalon Station is Catalina Island. We patrol Catalina. So if you're in one patrol station and you're just like, you moved away and now that's a far patrol station, you can put in for another one. You don't ever have to stay where you're at. You can always, if you want to go to all 23 patrol stations, you can go to all 23 patrol stations and check out what they have. So there's a lot of
That-
movement that you can create. You make the department work for you and your family.
It's a variety of opportunities. So somebody was asking in the chat about data forensics in the department. Is that something that's within the sheriff's department, or is that somewhere else? What does that data forensics look like
Okay.
within LA County Sheriff?
Yes, forensics is a question that we get a lot. So our data forensics is actually deputy sheriffs. So in order to do the data forensics, you are going to have to be a deputy sheriff. And what that looks like is, I got my notes right here. So what you would have to test to be a deputy. Now we have a fraud and cyber and fraud bureau, and to test for that, you'd have to test for that position, which would require 3 years of patrol training and then some detective experience prior to that. So how do you get that detective experience? So you can test to be a station detective, which you only need 2 years of patrol for that, no other experience needed. Or you can go for other detective positions that don't require any detective training prior to. Then once you get that 3 years experience of detective work, you can apply to be part of fraud and cybercrime bureau. And then from there, they have their own data forensics that is done by deputy sheriffs. So if that's where you're looking to go, that's the field you're going to have to, those are the steps you're going to have to take. You do have to be a deputy sheriff for that. Now, other forensics like the DNA forensics, you don't have to be a deputy sheriff. Those are civilians. That is through our department still, but you are a civilian with those forensics. So anything having to do with DNA and identification, that's going to be our civilian. That's going to be civilian. So you don't have to be a deputy sheriff for that, but you do have to have a lot of schooling for that. Um, they are looking at masters, specific masters, and some experience already. So the gentleman that I was talking to that is part of one of our crime labs was telling me that he went out of state to get his experience because he was just not getting looked at here, and then came back and now he's a supervisor for one of our forensic teams. So we do have a lot of locations for forensics, but the data specifically, that's deputy sheriff, and everything else is going to be civilians.
So somebody asked in the chat, what civilian opportunities are available in the department? So you mentioned one of those is like the DNA, the identification. Those require a lot of education.
So
And then
yes,
what else is available out there?
so some of, if you go to our website, lesd.careers, and you go to our non-sworn professional staff, right there is going to be our civilian positions. Now that's changing daily. As a position becomes available, they'll list it on there, which is just through government jobs. And then once it gets full, they'll remove it from the website. So it's always changing. You always want to keep checking it. If there's something on that website that you like, click on it and see what the requirements are and the location is for that. We have call takers, we have dispatchers, we have plumbers, maintenance crew, we have tech on there. There's a lot of different jobs that we do have for civilians. We are all in-house, so everything that we need to run the sheriff's department is all, it's all in-house. We're going to hire through there. So we have painters, we just have everything.
That's interesting. I wouldn't thought that they're painters. It's like, but when I think about it more widely, yeah, you would need pretty much every kind of skill. So that makes sense. So yeah, definitely check. I just posted the website into the chat. So if you're out there and you have skills that may not traditionally be something that you would think that the sheriff would do, still go to the website and check it out because there may be something for you.
I mean, it's not going to hurt. Just always look on there and see what they got going on. Or you may want to do a clerical position and meet the minimum requirements, so that'll get you in the door. And then there's promotions for those fields as well. So on that website, you're just going to find everything that we offer and anything that can help prepare you for a career with our department.
So actually that goes right into the next question that we have. How about applying in for office work? Do you still need to do all the physical training?
No, so the academy is going to be for deputy sheriff. Now we have academies for custody assistant, security officers, security assistant. We have academies for those, and those are all going to be different. But for civilian positions like clerical work and everything else, there's no academy for those, but they do go through a background process. For any position within the sheriff's department, you are going to go through a background process.
Okay. And then somebody asked us, what do people working in court services do?
So they have the bailiff. So I mean, on TV, you've seen them inside the courtroom. So you have deputies that are within the courtroom. Then you have deputies down with the inmates that bring them up when it's time, when it's their time in the courtroom. So you have those deputies as well. So you have the bailiffs, the jailers down there, and then you have some that are in clerical positions that are doing paperwork as well.
Okay, so I just want to let the folks out there know that we do still have time available for questions. So if you do have questions at the top of your mind or you're trying to formulate them, put them in the Q&A now, and I'll be happy to answer them. So the next question here is, you mentioned just now that there's jobs that don't require the physical training. So some of those are office positions. I imagine pretty much would that be like all the civilian positions? They don't require the training?
They're not going to require the academy that we go through. Now, if you want let's say you're going for general maintenance, When you go and apply for that position, it's going to tell you what is required from you. Some of those clerical positions may require a test, a typing test or something similar to that. So you will need to click on whatever job you are looking at to see what the qualifications are for them. Some of them may have you have to be able to lift 70 pounds and things like that. So if you see something that you like, click on it and see what the requirements are for that position. But for the civilian positions, for the most part, you don't need an academy. Like I said, custody assistant, security officer, you do go through an academy for that. It's a smaller academy than the sheriff's department, than the sheriff trainee.
Okay, so it doesn't take as much time
Correct.
for people if they want to get started right away. So the next question is, can an Orange County sheriff transfer to LA County and not lose their seniority or retirement time?
That is actually a good question. Your seniority, you are going to lose your seniority. So you will start off, if you are in the more than 2 years with the Orange County Sheriff's Department, you can lateral over to us and you're not going to do your academy time with us, but you are still going to start the same as everybody else. So if you don't want to go to the courthouses or the jail portion, then you can go straight into the patrol, but that's going to be your choice when you are lateraling over. So they will give you a choice. But for the most part, you are going to start off with everybody else. And you're not going to be able to transfer your time unless it's in the same, unless you're doing the same retirement.
Okay. And then do you have to be a U.S. citizen to work for the Sheriff's Department?
No, you do not. You just have to be legally authorized to work in the United States.
Okay. And then I have a more, kind of a more general question. So when it comes to somebody working on patrol, being becoming a deputy working on patrol, what are some personal characteristics or personality traits that make somebody a good, for instance, a deputy who goes on patrol or working in the jails? And then on the other side, what are some personality where if you see somebody and you sort of talk to them, you go, no, you probably shouldn't be doing this.
I think being humble is definitely something, a good characteristic to have to be a deputy sheriff. You need to be able to have people skills and talk to people. Um, I would say that would probably be the best traits that you can have. You want to be honest. You want to be an honest person and have integrity. Those are some of the things that I think will get you far within the sheriff's department. And if you just don't have those things and you're not an honest person, then this isn't the field for you. You know, people are looking to you for help and direction, and you want to be able to provide that for them. You want to be able to comfort them and in their worst day, possibly. So
Mhm.
you need to have some compassion and just be humble with who you're dealing with and this different scenarios that you're going to be coming in contact with.
Mhm. Thank you. And then we have one more question here. So I mean, we have time. If anybody else has questions, put them in the chat right now because we're going to do one more question. And I don't know if you can answer this, Deputy, but one of our questioners wanted to know about your own personal experiences. You've worked at different places, and where is the place that you've enjoyed working the most, the area, and then and why?
Um, Actually, it's every location has been different, so they haven't been the same at all. Um, in custody and working in the jails, I had a lot of fun with my partners. I had partners, you know, sometimes there was four of us, you know, working together. So just being very close with my partners within custody, I thought that was a great experience that I had there. I learned how to talk to people better there, and I learned how to just be a better listener there. I think patrol was a lot of fun. You just never know what you were going to get into in patrol, and I worked primarily in Linwood, so it was a busy all the time, and it was just very different because every day was different. You were never running into the same thing, so every day was different there. In backgrounds, I got to see a lot of the applicants that we have and what was bringing them into the sheriff's department and why they were. I mean, I wanted to help people and make a difference in my community, and that's why I joined. But I saw a lot of different walks of life coming through wanting to be deputy sheriffs for their own specific reasons, and some of them were good, some of them were not. Some were applying that maybe were not mature enough yet, and you get to guide them and help them make the right decisions, and in a way be a mentor to some of them, trying to go through the process or trying to figure out what they want in life. So that was very interesting, being a background investigator on that part. Just the different types of people that you were coming in contact with that wanted to be a deputy sheriff, whether they were 45 years old or 20 years old. A lot of them had a lot of history in their background, thinking they couldn't come through because of their family or gang members or whatever the case is, and you were just there to help them get through the process and become deputy sheriffs.
Everybody was on their own journey.
Yes. And recruitment, you get to talk to everyone. I think I'm having a lot of fun here because I'm just trying to help people start the process that they were maybe too scared to join, and you're just kind of easing that for them and making it comfortable for them and helping them realize that yes, this is something they could do. Anybody can do this, you just have to want to.
So let's do 2 more questions. So one is, do you know if there's a written test for a jailer or correctional officer?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
So when you do test to be a deputy sheriff, I'll back it up some more. So when you apply, if you go to our website at lasd.org, you can apply to be what we call a custody assistant. And on there is a written test and a physical fitness portion, because like I mentioned before, you do have an academy you have to go through. So the custody assistant primarily will stay working inside the jails. And what we tell people is, if you're going to be working in the jails anyway, you might as well do it as a deputy sheriff and making that much more money. Now, maybe you don't want to take that jump just yet and you want to do custody assistant first. That's fine. That application is also on there. And yes, it is a written test, and you do have the physical fitness portion that is exactly the same as a deputy sheriff. So to prepare for that one, you're just going to want to prepare for the deputy sheriff test as well.
All right. And we've got 2 minutes. So I'm going to ask you one more question. It's a philosophical question, and you can answer it or not. And the question is, you've worked in the field for a long time. Has it made you believe in the goodness of people, or have you become more cynical or jaded, or both?
I think both.
Both.
Yes. I look at the possibilities of what can go wrong, as also like the positive of things as well. But it also depends on where you're working and how you navigate through your career. So I see it both. I'm well aware of what's going on around me now and the possibilities of what can happen, as well as not taking any day for granted.
That's fair. Thank you very much, Deputy Waller. We appreciate you taking the time to speak to us about possibilities within the Sheriff's Department and spending time with the Q&A. For the folks out there, we're going to send you information about getting hired by the Sheriff's Department in the follow-up email. And this presentation is, of course, going to be on YouTube. So I will send you a follow-up email within less than a week that will have a link to that. And if you have a few moments, please do fill out our post-event survey. I'm going to send a link in the chat. It only takes a couple of minutes to fill out, and very much appreciate your feedback on this presentation, and then any topics that you want us to talk about in the future. We're always open to suggestions, and we read every one of the surveys and take those into account when we plan future sessions. So once again, thank you, Deputy Waller, and thank you to all the folks out there for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.